Welcome to the Rusted Garden Homestead. I want to show you 10 ways, 10 different types of trellises that you can grow cucumbers vertically, and I'll talk about why you want to do that. So the first one, this is old fencing from the farm where I volunteer. It's just been kept, in a circular cylinder. It was free. You can drop something like this right in the ground, plant your cucumbers, maybe 1, 2, 3. They will grow up the cage. The space is big enough. It's nice and solid. Maybe put a stake in there to hold it in place. But you can grow your cucumbers vertically right up something like this. And it looks really cool. This is another design just made out of chicken wire. I will put the video that shows you how to build this in the video description. But it's just chicken wire, bamboo posts up the side, one through the middle for more strength. You could use tree branches, and it's very, very effective for trellising cucumber plants. And of course you can trellis other things up here. Number one reason for trellising is if this bed right here had 1, 2, maybe 3 cucumber plants right there, I let them grow. They get 8 feet, 10 feet tall, maybe 3 feet wide. That will cover this entire bed, and I'm only going to be able to grow cucumber plants. If I put in a large trellis, a tall trellis right here, they can grow vertically right up that. I have all this extra space for planting. Here's a simple design. This is 10-foot ladder mesh. I've talked about this before, and you can just tuck it into each side of the raised bed. You really kind of want 2, maybe tie it together. Even though it moves, that would be strong enough for 1 cucumber plant to grow up here. And you can trail the cucumber plant up and then back down, and if it continues to grow, back up again. But it'd be kind of cool because the cucumbers would hang right there. Only 1 plant on something like that. I'm also going to show you how to build a trellis using the wire rack for shelves right in there. That broke. I'll do the build for that. Something basic you've seen before. This is concrete mesh. You can just put it inside of your raised bed, grow something up that, maybe a bush variety or something would be best for something that size. Coming over here, that's wire rack. Like you go to Home Depot if you want to redo your closet, I should say closet shelving. And you can buy these 10, 12-foot pieces of shelving for your closets, but use them to grow vertically. These had beans on there, but again, it's going to be for cucumber plants. You've seen this before. These are just basic U-posts. I used to call them T-posts. They're just a little bit different. And you would just attach basic fencing on here. That's about 5 feet tall. That's the concrete mesh. That one goes up probably 6 feet, 7 feet tall. Perfect for vertical growing. The other reason you want to grow vertically is a lot of diseases come from the ground, insects come from the ground. I always get spider mites. So if my cucumber plant was sprawling across the ground, every leaf is right there. So the spider mites can easily get to all the leaves at once. Disease can get on there all at once. When you grow vertically, spider mites, the tiny insects, have to start on the bottom of the plant, work their way up, multiply on the undersides of the leaves, work their way up. Disease has to progress the same way. So you can catch the diseases and insects on the lower leaves, spray for them, remove them. The upper part of the plant stays healthy. You can also prune away the bottom leaves, makes it much more difficult for problems to get onto your plants by growing vertically. And I guess the third reason would really be it's hard to get under all the leaves when they're spread out across the ground and spray under them. When they're vertically, you just spray this side, you just spray that side. You've put your fungicides on there or your insecticides on there. I use peppermint oil, works wonderfully on cucumbers, and it's a lot easier to maintain. And I'll give you a fourth reason. I think it looks really cool. So if you just had this wall of cucumbers here, that's going to look pretty impressive, I think. So we'll come back to this in a second at the end. It's March 16th. It's too early for me to put cucumbers out, but these were prop plants for different videos. I'm going to put some in the ground, see if they survive, but sure enough, we're going to get freezing temperatures, and that's going to kill them off. I really won't put my cucumbers in until the end of April, beginning of May, but now is the perfect time to really build everything. You'll see cattle panel around. You can certainly use that. They come in 16-foot sections, and I just rainbow it across my 8-foot bed. You can put cucumbers on either side. These are shorter closet racks just attached to wooden posts. I grew bush cucumbers up here. I will actually link that video too, so you can see some full-grown cucumber plants, and I also showed you how I prune those plants. If you want to subscribe and follow, This year I'll show you how I plant the entire garden, take care of it, even harvest and cook the vegetables that come out of here. This is a basic A-frame. I've done lots of videos on trellising. I got this at my local hardware store. It's just an A-frame. It collapses. Don't have a name for it. It was just like that, and I think it was only 10 bucks. It was not too ridiculously priced because it's metal, it's going to last forever, and you can just put a couple of these right here and you can grow cucumbers up and down, something like that. This is just kind of a cool design that I felt like creating. Wire mesh, PVC, you could grow something up that. All right, cattle panel can also be made into a tighter arch that you could walk under. These are beans that were growing up here, cucumbers right up this. You can pick, harvest, spray, manage. Again, a lot easier that way. And it's just two different ways to use the cattle panel. Something wider, you know, something taller. This is one that I just made, took maybe 5 minutes really. So if you come over, you can see this is just basic fencing. Not that thick a gauge, you know, so it's a little flimsy, but it's going to be fine for cucumber plants. You put in a T-post here, a T-post there, and a taller one in the middle. If you can make your trellis about 6 feet, that's perfect for cucumbers. If your cucumber grows beyond 6 feet, what do? You just bend it down and you let it grow down. So this is not even really secured on anything. You just take it, I probably won't be able to do this one-handed, but you just push this side in over to here, keep this post in the front, bring the fencing in front of this one, and then you would tuck it right in like that, and then just pull it over. And this is going to be secure enough with this post in the front, this post behind, this post in the front. You may want to tie it right here, but I like to kind of do things where I'm tying things up less. Be a little flimsy up there, so maybe some wire right on there. So these are a couple different ways that you can grow vertically. This is actually for my tomato plants. I weave them in there, but there's no reason why this couldn't be used for growing cucumbers. Just posts. I like using wire. This is galvanized wire for electric fences. I get it at Tractor Supply. It's really ridiculous. It's like, I want to say like 200 yards for $20 or something like that. But it will last forever. So you can just set it up. It doesn't look great now, but once things are growing on here, you don't notice it. But I don't like having to replace the jute and the natural fibers, you know, every year. Something that's kind of more maybe whimsical is you could use ladders if you want. If you can find them on sale, you can set them down and grow the cucumbers right up there. But you kind of get the idea. So let me show you how I build this. This is the closet rack, wire rack. It's about 10 feet tall and it's just supported on 2 wooden posts, but I'm going to build that over here. So first thing I'm going to do is clear all this out. I'm going to use T-posts. T-posts you can get at Tractor Supply store. They're anywhere from $5 to $8 depending on the height, but they are solid and they're going to last really forever. The U-posts actually snap down at the bottom. We're getting crazy winds here, 50 miles an hour at times. So when this was weighted down, the wind was coming, it actually bent the metal U-post and they snapped. So these just weren't strong enough. I recommend the T-post. There you go. There's the T. But they are solid. So let me clean this up. It's important to think about where you place your trellis, what direction you put it. Do you put it this way? Do you put it that way? Do you put it on this part of the garden bed or do you put it on the front part of the garden bed? And this is the reason. So today we're going to use my shadow. I don't normally put it in the video. South, direct south is this way. So when I set a trellis up like this, and my southern sun is here and it tracks that way, that allows maximum sun to come to the plants down here. And then as it gets more to the west, the shadow is going to cast that way, which is okay because the sun is starting to set. But when south is here, sun's coming this way, sun's coming this way, so the trellis really impacts the plants on this side and this side less. In setting up my trellis here, and again, you can see how my shadow falls. If I put the trellis back where it was, right along here, and this whole side fills up with cucumbers, when the sun is moving into its southern position, hitting the cucumbers. Everything in front of it is going to be shaded out. You may want that for certain plants. So you have to make a decision. One, are you going to put the trellises this way or that way? And two, where do you want to put it? Do you want to put it here so it casts shade onto the rest of the bed? Or do you want to put it in the front? In this case, I'm going to put it back where it was so that this does cast shade down, and then some cool weather crops that don't like the hot sun will be able to kind of grow longer here, and I may be able to get in an extra planting of radishes, maybe even lettuces, because cucumbers will shade and cool the soil, and then those cool weather plants will appreciate that. Hope that makes sense. So think about now, since cucumbers can't go in the ground in here, Maryland Zone 7, just think about some of the strategies of which direction you're putting the trellises, how tall you want the trellises, and kind of work on the design ideas. That's pretty much it. So you put your T-post in. You want the post to be at least 3 feet high to 4 feet high. The taller the piece of closet shelving, or the taller the trellis, the more post you want, so it provides more support. And then you would tie it. I'm going to use the wire, a piece down there, piece in the middle, piece up top. That will work. And I just wanted to show you, it's upside down, but you'll see a number 17, and that's 1/4. This is a 1/4 mile of wire for only about 20 bucks. So let me secure that, and this is how I'm going to grow some cucumbers this year. Instead of beans, this section is going to be cucumbers, and I'll be able to put one right down there on the left and on the right and send 2 up there. It'll be a little overgrown, so to speak, but I just learned to prune my cucumbers. So I'll get more production out of there because I'll have more plants. I'll be able to remove leaves strategically, and the plants will do really, really well. And because I'm growing vertically, I'll be able to manage pests and problems that start showing up on the bottom with the peppermint oil spray and through pruning. All right, let me finish these, show you what that looks like. The trellises are done. These will hold 4 plants. I can even put some string between them if I need more space, depending on the variety of cucumber that I'm growing. Again, it's too early here in March to put the cucumbers out. Gonna give these a try. Gonna put some plastic over them, glass over them, see if I can get them to go. But think about the design. And then just one more example again. You can see how the wheelbarrow is casting shade right into the ground. So if I put this trellis right here, the southern sun would cast shadow down. Don't want that. In this case, I have it over here to the left. So the shadow falls into the walking area, and I'll be able to plant more crops in here that need more sunlight. Thanks for watching. Hope this gives you some ideas on how to build trellises for your cucumber plants.